Mac Shuffle has shuffled once again, this time landing me with a 1999 action thriller, and technically kind of a comedy as well. It's The Boondock Saints. Tired of crime overrunning the streets of Boston, Irish Catholic twin brothers Connor and Murphy are inspired by their faith to cleanse their hometown of evil with their own brand of zealous vigilante justice. As they hunt down and kill one notorious gangster after another, they become controversial folk heroes in the community, known as the Saints. But Paul Smecker, an eccentric FBI agent, is closing in on their blood-soaked trail. Before I go on with my review of Boondock Saints, make sure that you stick around for the end of the review when I will be revealing the next randomly selected film that fate has decided that I review next, so stick around for that. You don't want to miss it. Now, onto the Boondock Saints. This is one of those films and one of those franchises that I've only ever seen once, and I saw it a long time ago. I don't even remember when it was that I saw it, but I do remember enjoying it. But I also think that I was probably a little bit too young to fully comprehend it, fully appreciate it for what it was. And when I watched it today, I was pleasantly surprised. I thought that this film was a lot of fun. It was essentially kind of a mixture of ideas that we have seen before, of course, but played out in a way that was a lot of fun and endearing, and it had a bunch of characters that you kind of fall in love with because it's so relatable, it's funny, it's serious when it needs to be, it's dramatic, it's emotional, and it all winds up into a big ball of just funness. I personally remember the sequel more because one, it came out a few years down the line, and two, because I actually saw the sequel in a theater where it had Troy Duffy, the director, sitting in the audience, as well as one of the actors, Sean Patrick Flanery. I met them both, I got their autographs, it was a good time, but you know, this is the first film. Now the first film was kind of an origin story for these two vigilante heroes, folk heroes, and they're interesting. I mean, obviously we've seen vigilante movies, they're everywhere. But there's just something about the approach here. There's something about the chemistry between these two fraternal twins in the film. There's something about their accents. There's just something about the culture, the society, that makes it stand out among others. I mean, yes, plot-wise, it's following a similar narrative that, you know, other films like it do. Absolutely. But you care a little bit more. And the attitude that everybody has in the film, that's what makes it a little bit more relatable. That's what kind of makes it funny at the same time. I love that it has Sean Patrick Flanery, which I've seen in so many things. Not everybody has, but I've seen him probably most recently in one of the last Saw movies. But I grew up watching him on the USA TV show The Dead Zone, which is, you know, an adaptation of a Stephen King book. I saw the movie as well. But I enjoyed his political character in that show and how diabolical he was. It was kind of like a Lex Luthor character, if I remember correctly. I just really enjoyed him in that. And basically everything that he's been in since. I just think that he's an enjoyable actor. I like him in almost everything. And then of course you got Daryl Dixon himself, Norman Reedus, which I think most people probably just know from The Walking Dead. He's not in a million different things. Before he was in Walking Dead, he was in this, and he's almost barely recognizable because he doesn't have all that hair. Not only that, but he also has this Irish accent in the movie, which I didn't really believe. They're supposed to be Irish brothers, like American Irish brothers, and they have this Irish accent, and for the most part, I didn't really buy into that accent, especially for Norman Reedus. A little bit with Sean Patrick Flanery, I did kind of believe he was American Irish, but Norman Reedus was bouncing in and out of that accent, and I didn't fully believe it. I need to revisit the second one to see if it improved a little bit. But yeah, in general, I would say that there's an ambiance in this film when you watch it, where it's like, it feels very, very standalone. It feels like its own thing. It feels like it's the only vigilante movie in the world, even though we all know it's not. It's weird like that. It's definitely a movie that I recommend if you haven't seen it, because technically speaking, it's done very, very well. The way that it's edited, also very well done, because what it'll do is that it will approach these crime scenes first, and it'll have all the cops and the detectives taking a look at what happened, the aftermath, and then it'll fade to black, and then it'll come back, and we'll see, as the detectives explain what happened, these Boondock Saints doing it all. And the lead detective in this film is played, of course, by a very eccentric, very boastful, and yet calm and elegant Willem Dafoe. I loved his performance in this. I thought it stood out as one of his better roles. He's done a lot, obviously, he's Willem Dafoe, but I don't know, there's something about how he approached this role that I say it a lot, but it stood out. Cinematography was fantastic, the use of music was great, the gore was a little bit too bright red for my taste, but I forgave that most of the time because I was just kind of more pulled into the story itself and these characters and their importance into the long run and why they're all there, because everybody is there for a reason. Nobody's just kind of wandering around like stupid. They're all important. And I like that about this movie. This movie is very, very good. It's very subtle, and I feel like the budget wasn't amazing, but you barely notice because it's made so well overall, and I'm not surprised at all that it got a sequel, even though the sequel came out, what, 10 years after the fact, wasn't it? But I'm getting off topic, so let's take a look at my end score for the Boondock Saints, which I rated an A- letter grade. Final overall score of 86%, 86 out of 100. Possible stars. You can see from my unbiased score that I rated this pretty darn highly at 92% because I think in general everything that I'd approached from a technical angle was phenomenal, even though it was subtle a lot of the times. But overall, great movie. I had a good time with it. I wish I had some popcorn when I was watching it because it just seems to be that kind of movie to shut your brain off to and just have a good time with. Now, as promised, I'm going to let you guys know what the Cinematic Shuffle has decided my fate is now. Red! Now, if you guys don't remember what Red is, it's this action comedy film with like Bruce Willis and like John Malkovich and stuff like that. I'm very interested to watch that again because it's been a long time. I remember enjoying it, but I don't remember much other than that. But other than that, guys, please let me know your thoughts on the Boondock Saints in the comments section down below if you've seen it. If you haven't, what has kept you from watching it? You know, just let me know in the comment section down below, and as for you two guys, know what to do. Hit the like, hit the subscribe button, and hit the bell to be notified when I come out with my next review. Peace out!